techniques is teaching you how do I sit with my thoughts and also win the war that's going on in my head. That was the whole outcome, was how do you win the war in your head? And that's what I did. Like, I'm beating myself up because I'm thinking about everything that I've been through in my life, from the birth of Joevan to, the growth of Joevan as a child, to the molestation of Joevan, to the, confusion of sexuality of Joevan, to the homosexual Joevan, to the, okay, I'm going back straight Joevan, to the, okay, how do I date Joevan, to the, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Vulnerable Moments, the podcast. I'm your host, Joevan J. Palmer, and as always, we have special guests sharing their most transparent and vulnerable moments. Well, I'm back. I am back after a long hiatus. I'm certain there's been a few of y'all been asking where the podcast at, man, where you been? We miss you, we need you. And I get it. We all are needed in some capacity to the world. And I know that I was needed, but I needed me for some time. Like, I've been going and going and going and working and working and working. And I just didn't have much time for me, and I just pretty much was burnt out. So I took some time off and wound up getting a little comfortable and took off entirely too much time, because I think my last episode was back in, I don't even know when my last episode was, but it was a minute ago, and I'm back, so a few life updates, if I can get my water open, but I probably can't. Golly, all right, bump that. But yeah, a few life updates. So let's see. I'm no longer podcast producing. I'm not sure if I've shared that, but I just took some time away from. I didn't take time away from it. I actually stepped away from it. It was just my season ended in that space, and I knew my season was ending. I didn't want to come with the terms and the grips of, that my season was ending in that space, because I enjoyed being in that space. I enjoyed the people I met. I enjoyed, the things I got to do, the travel opportunities, the money opportunities, just the business opportunities and the growth. Lots of growth happened with me. Like, I saw lots of myself, the good, the bad, and the ugly in that space. And, it's sometimes you got to say goodbye to some things. And that was the hardest part for me, because I'm a very loyal guy. Loyal to a fault, they would say, but my loyalty has got me places that some people just couldn't get to. I'm still gonna try to open this water. I need a little quench thirst. Got this back up. Yeah, so I was pretty much I was loyal to that space, and I enjoyed it. And it was a hard decision to say, hey, my time here has come to an end. That was one of the hardest things for me to do, is say my time here has come to an end, when I was very pivotal to that space. I was very, committed, very open to learning and growing. And for something to have to come to an end to me, it was like a very hard decision. But what came to an end was also the start of a beautiful journey, because I've also, if you know me, I'm big into the mental health space, big into, people getting help and showing people how to get help and helping people learn how to heal and, do some self-healing, and along with, some co-healing with other individuals as a therapist and coaches and everything like that. And I got the opportunity to become a therapist, and I just couldn't turn it away. I couldn't turn it down. I had to take the opportunity, because it was like, it's right there in your face. You asked for something, you prayed for something for these years. You couldn't find a way, because there was once upon a time I couldn't find a way, because there was like a huge financial barrier in my way. Got the schooling that I needed and got into school, and before I even finished school, I got a job as a therapist. Like, that was like the dopest thing for me. Like, I'm not even finished with school yet. I literally just finished school. I just graduated August 26, 2023. I finished back in like the end of June. Yeah, the end of June I finished school, and I'm like, you have a job as a therapist. Like, it's not full licensed therapist. Let's not say that. I'm supervised under a clinical supervision, clinical social worker, but I'm doing what I love to do, which is sit down, talk out people's problems, find solutions from them on a mental and holistic way. And to me, that's like, it was a no-brainer. Those are tough decisions. It was definitely a no-brainer to say, all right, your time here has come to an end. And sometimes I recognize that, when you're sitting in spaces for too long, sometimes you're just sitting in the spaces that are meant for other people. And I think that I was sitting in somebody else's space because I was being selfish to not step into the opportunity that was waiting for me. So that's a life update there. Let's see. I did a 10-day silent retreat. 10 days, got my water open, of complete silence where I had to sit in silence with myself, with my thoughts for 10 whole days. Like no communication with nobody, no eye contact with anybody. The only communication I had was with our master teacher and our actual like dorm or like retreat manager. That was it. And we couldn't even have lots of communication with them. It was really like very specific niche down questions. Like if you just had to say, okay, what time is it? You can find it out by looking at the clock. But a friend of mine that I was talking to, she pretty much introduced me into silent meditation and everything. I've heard of meditation. I've, been like my therapist actually introduced me into it, but I've never really like done it on a Buddhist like monk type of situation. And when I say it was life changing and transformative and eye opening, man, it was just the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Day one, I'm super hyped because day one, I'm just excited because I've heard the good things. My friend, she did a 3-day. She came back on this magical high and I'm like, yo, I want some of that. Whatever you went and got, I want a piece of that. And I got a piece of that, And day one, I get there, this brother walks up to me because day one, you can talk for a little bit. Up to like 8 p.m. you can talk, but it's not really a day one. It's like day zero, truth be told. And brother walks up to me and say, yo, man, you a believer? You go to church? Like, what's up with you? Like, not like that, but just really just inquisitive. And I say, yeah, I go to church, believe in God, Christ, and everything like that. And he says, man, there's just this glow about you, man. You about to go to the mountaintop on this retreat. You about to meet Jesus. And I'm like, am I going to die? No, but he just saying, like, you got this glow about you. And there's something that whatever you came here for, you're going to get it. And I heard that, but also forgot that he had told me that until the final day of the retreat. So day one comes, we wake up, it's 4:00 in the morning, I'm pumped. I'm looking at myself in the mirror like, oh, you got this, you can do this. This is about to be the dopest experience ever. So it's just 10 days. What can 10 little days, hurt? And it hurt. Those 10 days hurt. I'm not even gonna front and act like it was the best experience ever because it wasn't. Day one was cool. I got through day one, found out that we don't get dinner. That was a surprise to me. I didn't want to go in with too many expectations, so I just kind of briefly read about it and was like, I would just come here with little to no expectations and just show up and just allow for me to just be here in this space. And that's what I did. I showed up with no intentions, with no expectations, and just showed up for me to get what I needed to get for myself. And I got that. So day one comes is wake up, silent meditation by yourself, group meditation, breakfast, break/nap time, group meditation, lunch, break, group meditation, snack, discourse, shut it down for the night by like 10 p.m. That's my day every day. 3 group meditations, I believe it was, 3 silent meditations, 2 meals and a snack every day. Now, some people say, oh, that just sounds like prison. I mean, whatever you want to make it seem like, or whatever you want to make it sound like, that's what it probably was. But for me, it was more so an experience that I needed to get for myself. And when I got that experience, it was just the best thing ever. Day 2 comes, I'm like, okay, I'm learning how to just sit, because they teach you, okay, like, how do you sit with what you got going on in life and also be able to sit through it for an hour of complete silence. I'm moving, like, the goal is to have you to be able to sit in silence completely, like just flat out in silence, no movement, no scratching, no, trying to fix your leg from falling asleep, none of that. It's just you sitting there fighting the pain, but not really fighting the pain or resisting the pain, but more so just getting through the pain, because pain is temporary. Our teacher, rest his soul, taught us that, pain is temporary. That's everything that we go through is just a temporary situation. If you can get through the temporary portion of it that you're going through in the physical and the presence and the spiritual, you can pretty much get through any and everything through life. So that was like the mantra that we were on, just teachings about teachings and everything. And I'm not going to try to quote everything because it was some months ago that I did it. And I haven't been like as dedicated and committed to it because, when you get back into life, you have to like figure out, okay, how can I still keep this meditative state of life, still do life, work, build businesses, be social, date, be with your family, be with your friends, travel, and do all this stuff and still keep like, this whole meditative mantra up. And it's been a challenge. When I got back, I was doing good. And then of course life kicked in and got back into the hustle and bustle. And just like, I just get it every now and again. But thankfully we got a group, we sit every Wednesday, at least for an hour. So if I don't get it any time during the week, I know at Wednesdays, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I'm with the crew. So day 3 comes, and I think day 3 and 4 are like my worst days ever because I had to sit with it because you're sitting with your thoughts. And the whole technique is teaching you, how do I sit with my thoughts and also win the war that's going on in my head? That was the whole outcome, was how do you win the war in your head? And that's what I did. Like, I'm beating myself up because I'm thinking about everything that I've been through in my life, from the birth of Joevan to, the growth of Joevan as a child, to the molestation of Joevan, to the, confusion of sexuality of Joevan, to the homosexual Joevan, to the, okay, I'm going back straight Joevan, to the, okay, how do I date Joevan, to the, what if people figure out Joevan, to the, partnership. And it was just so much going on, the forgiveness of Joevan, the forgiveness of people, like so much going on stuff. I didn't say, okay, I didn't expect to come here for this stuff. So I'm fighting this war with myself silently. I'm silently fighting this war with myself, and I'm asking myself, Joevan, how are you going to get through this? And I'm sitting there as the meditation goes, it's complete silence, and I'm just rocking back and forth, side to side. Homie next to me, when we finally talked, he was like, yo, I felt your energy, man. Homie next behind me, I felt your energy. Are you good? And I was not good. I lost it. Everything that I was holding inside, everything that I suppressed inside, everything that I thought I had fixed inside of me had came out, but it came out in such a beautiful way to where now I am feeling like I am finally whole. You think that you've done the work, and I'm not taking away from the work that I did, because I've done a tremendous amount of work for myself, done a great job. Kudos to you, Joevan. Pat yourself on the back, G, because you deserve it. But it was just like there was more work to do. And I'm saying this to say that just because you get to a certain point in life and you feel like, okay, I've healed myself with an ED, I'm letting you know now, healed does not exist. Let's debunk that myth now. Healing exists, healed doesn't exist. Because if I cut myself right here, and I got tattoos on my body, or I cut myself with a knife, my body itself is going to heal itself. It's going to go through a healing process and healing stage. But at the same time, there's going to be a scar there that's going to remind me that, you know what? You cut yourself, Joevan. You tried to cut yourself, or something went on with you. And what was going on with me was that the reminders in my mind was that, yo, Joevan, you went through some things in your life. You went through some things in your life and you suppressed them. You thought you got through them, but you did get through them. But there was still more work to be done. And that's why I tell people you're not really healed. You're always on a continuing journey of healing. That's what the ING is for. It's just a continual thing that you just keep on going. It continues because you keep growing and keep growing because you're thinking about it. As a human being, as we grow into this world, we're birthed into this world. Sometimes we're birthed into this world with traumas that don't belong to us. Sometimes we have some traumas that existed in the womb. Sometimes we wind up with traumas that happened in the hospitals that don't belong to us. Sometimes we wind up with the traumas of, of things that happened as we grew older that just didn't belong to us. It just happened. We just happened to be in the midst of those things. So it's like you're dealing with so much trauma, generational trauma, personal traumas, worldly traumas, and, physical traumas and mental traumas and sexual traumas, all sorts and types of traumas that we're dealing with. And that's what I was pretty much shedding at my silent retreat. Sometimes you go into life expecting one thing, but you come out with something even greater. And that's the process of this healing journey. And that's what my 10 days of silence taught me, was that, Joevan, don't go into life expecting things, but come out expecting greater. And that was it. I just knew that I was going there expecting, I wasn't going there expecting anything, but I knew I was coming out greater. And that's what happened with me. And then day 4, I'm like, yo, I'm out. I'm not dealing with this. I'm out. I could be kicking my family. I could be with friends. I could be working. There's so many things that I could be doing, you know? And I talked to the manager, and he was like, yo, if you want to go, you can go. We're not holding you hostage. Your car's here. We'll give you your keys. We'll give you your wallet. We'll give you your phone. You can dip pretty much. But he said, you're on day 4. What would all that work of day 1, 2, 3, and 4 have done if you just decide to leave? There's been people who've actually left. But what would all the works of what you said you came here to do, what would you have accomplished? And when he said that, I was like, you know what, Joevan, thug it out. You got this. You can do this. So day 5 comes, they talk. Matter of fact, day 4, around lunch comes, there's a list that you can sign up for to talk to like the master teachers and everything about what you're experiencing, the sensations and all the traumas and the pains and stuff. So I had put my name on the board, and as I'm walking out, they say, yo, the house manager says, yo, they want to see you. I said, don't worry about it. I already put my name on the board. I need to see them. So go see them. We talk about what was going on. I'm telling him what my experience. And every time I talk to him, he was like pissing me off. I'm like, yo, like I would say, hey, got this, and third. He was like, oh, that's for you. I experienced this for you. I mean, this happened for you. And I'm like, man, what did this dude keep saying for you? For like, that's for you, that's for you, that's for you. And I'm like, bruh, give me a solution to what I'm asking you of. And it dawned on me on day 8 that, everybody comes here with different life experiences. And they all come with what they came with. They all leave what they left with. But we all are there for different reasons. And I can expect to say, hey, this is what's happening to me. And he gives me a general answer that he gives everyone. And it just doesn't work for everyone. My puzzle piece may not fit your puzzle piece. And that's pretty much what he was explaining when he was saying the whole for you, Joevan. What you're experiencing is just for you. Don't worry about anybody else around you and what you're experiencing, what they're experiencing. Worry about you. They tell you when you're flying, the first thing that you should do is what? If the plane is going down, you should mask yourself up first, because what happens is you lose oxygen and trying to help somebody else before you help yourself. The goal, and I think one of the things I was getting at, Joevan, you got to start putting you first. You got to start putting you first to the point where if it doesn't align what you want to do, if it doesn't go what you want to do, if it takes you away from what you're doing, if it takes you away from the very thing that you've been working towards, then you got to put you first and say, no, I can't do that. Or no, just not right now. Maybe next week, maybe later, maybe next month, or maybe never. Those are the things that we have to do when it comes to putting me first and putting ourselves first. And that's what my silent retreat taught me, to put myself first. It also taught me about how I look at people, because you have these thoughts, and of course you can't talk to nobody. So I don't know what nobody's voice, I don't remember what nobody's voice sound like, because we talked for a matter of a couple of hours, 2 hours, maybe at that. And I'm looking at people like, dang, this is probably what this dude sound like, this is probably that girl sound like. Mind you, the guys and girls were split up on separate sides. So all you have is male interaction, kind of. It's really just male energy for the most part. You have your women energy is there, but they're on their side experiencing what they're experiencing and everything. And I have these preconceived notions of all these people in my head. And it also taught me, put the preconceived notions down about any and everything and any everybody in life, because all of these gentlemen who were there when we finally got to talk to each other showed me something totally different. They showed me this thing called brotherly love. We hugged, we cried with each other. We talked about our most vulnerable moments and what we experienced during our 10 days of silence. And I'm like, this is a different side of manhood that I'm experiencing, that I'm seeing, that I need to tap even more into. I thought I tapped into it, but I'm like, there's even more vulnerability out there, Joevan. And you can go get it, you can display it, you can show it to the world. Cats we're one militant, Black Panther looking dude in there, weeping, to the most, just me in there weeping. You just think you have these expectations of people, and they're preconceived. And I believe the energy of your preconceived notion kind of dictates how people even perceive you sometimes. And I had to let that go. And I recognized at the retreat of, letting that go was a beautiful thing. So day 5 comes, and I'm learning, to sit for an hour straight, no scratching, no moving, and I'm getting it. On day 6, I'm getting stronger. I said by day 10, I'm going to sit an hour straight. If I just got it, if I do it once, that's all. The goal is to sit for an hour straight, and to be able to rock this thing out. And that's what I did. I sat for an hour straight. I was like, mission accomplished. You sat for an hour straight, you did it. And, lots of people who, when I told them, I didn't tell lots of people because I knew there would be people who probably would have talked me out of trying to go. I told my very close friends, my very close family members, that I was going on 10 days of silence. and I'm out. Because sometimes people try to talk you out of things that they can't do or they have never even accomplished or never even touched. And I said, I just got to go. I drove myself there, 4-hour trip to Savannah. I think I didn't even talk to somebody on the way there. I made a few phone calls, like my final phone calls for 10 days. I let people know I made it there, shut that phone off, and it was just me, God, and meditation. And I've been dealing with this thing called forgiveness for years, and God tripped me up. Like I'm walking after that day 4, I'm me crying. I went to take a walk in the wilderness with my walking stick, and God was like, forgive him. I'm like, nope. I knew exactly who God was talking about. God was talking to the dude who molested me, and I'm like, nah. God said, forgive him. I said, no. Like me and God literally going back and forth about it. And I'm walking, and as I'm walking, God like pretty much buckles my knees, and I fall to the ground, weeping at saying, yo, all right, God, I surrender. I forgive him. And I didn't realize that, the forgiveness for him allowed me to forgive myself for holding on to something for so long because I was a child and that individual was a child as well. And I just couldn't hold on to that any longer because there was a desire to have a relationship with that individual and there was a desire to not have a relationship with that individual. But the desire to actually have one was stronger than not having one. So I had to get beside myself and say, Joevan, you're in your own way right now. Get out your way. Let God do what God does best and fix this whole situation because it can turn out to something so beautiful, in which it has done because we've begun talking to each other via email and just slow walking this thing called life and catching up and everything. And I'm okay with that. Now, I know there's some people out there who may not be okay with forgiving the person who abused them and, made their life a living hell. But I'm here to tell you, it's possible. Forgiveness is possible. You can do it, but you got to get beside yourself and get out of your own way and make that joint happen. I had done some people wrong, and I recognized there were some names that popped up during my meditation. I called them as soon as I got back. Like, yo, we need to talk. We're FaceTiming face to face. Can you forgive me? I've done you wrong. The way the situation panned out, it wasn't like that. We've been friends for X amount of years, and this is not the way things should have turned out. And I'm thankful to God that I'm strong enough and I was man enough to admit my faults and who I was and how I did things wrong and what I did wrong. So, the meditation, the 10 days of silence, man, it was an amazing experience. Day 9, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 come, and it was just a breeze because that was the one thing that I did not expect to go there for, but the expectation that I was probably subconsciously thinking about met me there, and it was a beautiful meeting that I had. And I'm just thankful for those 10 days of silence. I'm thankful for the art of meditation. I'm thankful for my brothers and my sisters that I've met in this 10-day retreat, 10 days of silence. I'm thankful for myself and the willingness of, just going forth and doing it. I'm thankful for the friend who introduced me to meditation. I'm thankful because there's this thing called life, and it's hard and it's rough, but if you put forth the effort, you can do any and everything that your mind says you can't do. And I'm a living witness. I'm a living witness to that because there's nothing that can't stop you. And at day 10, I said, yo, I'm by the beach. I'm going to go walk. I need to see some water. So I went to the beach and I'm walking. And it was just people just looking at me and they're just waving and smiling. And I guess it was just like this glow that I couldn't see. They couldn't see, but they saw something in me. And I'm just smiling and waving back. And I'm sitting there on the beach just crying and I'm meditating because I just feel so much lighter. I feel like so much weight has been lifted off of me. And I'm thankful to that. I'm thankful that the weight's been lifted off me. I'm thankful that, I've had that experience. I'm thankful that I had my mountaintop experience that bro was talking about when we first met each other. So my 10 days of silence was an amazing experience. This isn't all of it. I'll probably be talking about it more as more downloads back into me in the podcast episodes. You'll be seeing more of me, more of some guests, just let you know we're going digital with the podcast. Because I have people all over the place who I want to interview. And the only way to do it is a digital way because I can't travel to and from all these places just yet. So if you want to support the podcast, just let me know. Shoot me a DM or a message and anything. There's topics you want me to discuss. There's people that you say, hey, I think that'd be a great individual. Drop them, in the comments or shoot me a message privately and say, hey, I think this person or I would like to be on and what's the qualifications. And we'll talk and we'll definitely get you on the show or get the individual on the show. But man, listen. 10 days of silence. I'm going to drop the link below. I would love for you to try, if you can, experience a 3-day. If you can't, experience a 10-day like I had the opportunity to, because just things just lined up for me, and I'm just happier. I'm more excited about life. And though life is not where I want it to be, and I'm not where I want to be just yet, I just know that I'm in the space that I need to be. And I know that the space that I need to be in, the space that I'm in right now, is going to take me to the place that I need to get to, as long as I'm diligent, I'm patient, and I'm persistent. That's one of the things our teacher taught us: be work diligently, patiently, persistently. I just remember that all the time: diligently, patiently, persistent. I just kept saying it over and over and over to myself. And those are my 10 days of silence, guys. That was a briefing of it. It's kind of hard to put 10 days of, just ups and downs into a 30-minute podcast, but here we are. Vulnerable Moments, the podcast is back. I'm your host, Joevan J. Palmer. Thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for sticking beside me. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing this episode. Thank you for any and everything that you have done that has contributed to when we were living blessed, the podcast, trying to figure things out, and we figured it out, and then we did a pivot and changed it to Vulnerable Moments. Thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for tuning back in. Thank you for sharing this podcast. Thank you for just doing the work for yourself and, doing what you need to do. I'm here for you. I'm here to help you heal. I'm here to help you, start your healing journey. I'm here to help you on your healing journey. I'm here to help you help somebody. So do me a favor: if you can like, comment, subscribe, and share this podcast, I would greatly appreciate it. Until next time, peace.